Hi there guys, today I'm going to show you another simple program and in this program we're going to ask a user to enter how many students they want to enter plus their name, which is going to be in string format, and their grade. In this example I'm going to do their grade in double format in case they decide they want to do a decimal. So let's go ahead and dive in and see what we need. First thing we need to decide is what variables we need. Well, since we're only going to be displaying the highest name and the highest grade, we don't care about keeping all the other ones. So first we need one to store that the person's going to enter, and then we need the highest one. So we need two of each. So we're going to do double for the score. So we're going to do double score, close that off. Then we're going to do double score H for highest. And since we're going to be doing this in a conditional a little bit later, and it's not originally going to have value, we need to initialize this one. So we're going to do 0.0. Now we need to do our strings for the names. So we're going to do string name, close that one off, and we're going to do string name H for highest name. We're going to go ahead and initialize this one as well, just because I want to see if he doesn't enter anything. It'll show us something there at least. That way we know if we have an error. Close that off. Okay, next thing is we need to know how many students he's going to enter. So that's going to be an int form, and we're going to use num for it. We also need to have some sort of loop to keep the cycle going while he enters all the students he's going to enter. So we're going to have a count. I'm not going to initialize my count here because I'm going to use a for loop a little bit later. For loops in general are the most common loop that we use. So let's go ahead, and one other thing I need to do real quick is I need my scanner to be able to input stuff. So let's do scanner input equals new scanner system.in. Close that off. There we go. And we're good. Now let's go ahead and prompt the user. So let's do system.out.print. Let's say, how many students are you going to enter? Let's put a space there so everything's nice and spaced out. And then we need to go ahead and read that in. We're going to be storing that in num for number of students. So num equals input.next, and we're going to do int since it's an integer that he's entering, or that they are entering, I should say. There we go. Now that we have that, we know how many times we're going to do our loop. So let's go ahead and set up our loop. Let's go for loop. Let's do count. We're going to initialize this to 1, or no, let's do it to 0. You can do it to either, it's just how you set up the conditional after it. So we're going to do count is less than num. If you were to set count to 1, you'd have to do the conditional as count is less than or equal to num. That way it gives us the right amount. Say you enter 3 for num. If you start at 0, you want 1, or 0, 1, 2, 3, and vice versa for the other way. And then we need to increment count. There we go. Go ahead and put our brackets. There we go. Now inside this we got to think of what we're going to do. This is where we're going to ask for the name and for the grade, since we're going to keep looping. So let's go ahead and do system.out.print and tell them to enter the student's name. Alright, now in order to read this, we're going to have to we're storing this in name. So let's do name equals input.next. And we're just going to do input.next, so it grabs whatever he types there. Or whatever they type anyways. And then we also need to do the same thing for grade. So we need to prompt the user for the grade. and we'll have them enter the grade. Our score anyways, because it's not a letter grade that we're doing. Then we need to obviously input it. Hold on, there's one mistake right there. There we go. And we're going to be storing that in score. And that is going to be in double form, so we need input.next double to grab the next double they input. Okay, now that we got that, now we got to think, what are we going to do in order to sort through these grades? Well, being that we don't care about any of the grades except the highest one, we just need an if statement. And we're going to continually override what's in score H and name H with the highest one. So therefore, we're going to do score. If score is greater than score H, then this statement's going to evaluate true. And then we're going to start doing the overriding. And that is why I had you initialize score H to 0.0. So the first grade he enters, no matter what, is going to be higher than 0.0. Unless they didn't do the homework, and then it doesn't really matter because next person's going to override them anyways. So okay, so now we need to think, once we're in this loop, what are we going to do? So what we're going to do is we're going to write score H and override it with score. So score H is always going to be our highest one. To associate the name with that, we need to do the same thing. We're going to do name H equals name. That way, the score and the name always match up for the highest. And that's that for the code. Except, we need one more thing, which is outside this loop. After we have all that information, we don't want to keep printing this, so we need to put it outside the loop, and we need to print out the results of who has the highest score. We're going to do a printf here, and I'm going to do, let's do %s. That's a placeholder. %s is for a placeholder for a string. We're going to do %s has the highest score at %f. F stands for float, which is the same thing as double. Technically, double is LF since it's a long float, but you can still use %f to accomplish it. Then we're going to put our variables in here. So the first thing is string, so we need, we need name H. The second placeholder is our float or double, which is score H. Okay, and there we go. Now let's close that off with semicolons, and we are done. So let's make sure I don't have any errors, which I do right there as a matter of fact. Luckily I looked at that. There we go. Let's see. Does not like my printf. I know how to fix that. Being that this is actually set up right, it means that my I'm not using the right compliance for my compiler. So we'll go to properties real quick and fix this. Let's go ahead and disable that because I have it naturally set to 7. Yes. And if I open this again, it'll say 1.7. You need it 1.5 or greater in order for printf statement to work, and see how it took that squiggly line away. There we go. Now we're good to go. So let's go ahead and run this. And we're going to do 3 students just for test. So let's go 3 students. Okay, let's enter the first name. Let's say John. Okay. I must accidentally hit enter twice there. That's okay. So John's score is going to be, let's say he did a 20.80. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's enter the next name. Let's do Henry. Let's say he did a lot better and got a 98.89. Okay, let's enter, say me. So Brian. Let's say I did a 97.8. Let's see if the program worked and sorted through it right. Okay, the highest score was Henry. That has the highest score at 98.989. And since you see all these zeros, we're going to go ahead and format this real quick. So we'll go back up here and we're going to hit 0.2. That way, we'll only show 2 decimals. I'm not going to go ahead and rerun it, but that's how that works. So anyways, guys, I hope that was informative. And if you have any comment or questions, leave it in the comments. Anyways, I will see you guys in the next video.